Hello everyone, Stephanie Galt here using Knovio for the first time. I'm really loving this tool and can see lots of applications for me. Anyway, I'm just going to take you quickly through a presentation showing data use at my school, specifically with some goals that we worked on this past year. And I'm only going to show you a little bit of what we did with our second grade. So we did a beginning of year data analysis where we specifically looked at the DIBEL scores and our benchmark data. We used Fountas and Pinnell benchmarking in our district. During the summer a year ago, we worked with the state office and noticed that in second grade, we had less students proficient at the end of the year in reading levels than we did at the beginning of the year. So we set some district goals surrounding that we wanted to prevent that from happening, so that we had at least the same amount of students proficient based on DIBEL's testing at the end of the year that we did at the beginning of the year. So this next slide here just shows that information, if it will progress for me. Specifically with second grade, we noticed at some meetings that we had with the state office that we had fewer students in second grade at the end of the school year that were testing as proficient in DIBELs than we had at the beginning of the year. So we did some work to set some goals at being able to help remedy that situation. This just shows a little bit of the wording that we had with that goal for the state. I brought that back to my school and went and did some digging into our specific data to show how many students were proficient at the beginning of the year and how many were proficient at the end of the year. You can see that we were dropping a few students each year. In order to help remedy that, one of the things that we did was come up with a literacy tracker that we were using. You can see this is showing what it looked like at the end of the year for one of our classes, where we had the beginning of the year DIBELs data, our middle of the year, end of year DIBELs data, and then we also had in there their reading benchmark level for each month from teachers' ongoing running records, and of course listed any interventions that they had in there. This was our tool for just housing all the information that we were working from. As we met each month, we were looking at identifying any students that were at risk and determining any specific areas in deficit that they had. Then we specifically went into looking at what their deficiencies were so that we could target instruction specifically for their needs and track what was going on. We found the tracking to be the most critical part of what was happening. This just shows a partial screenshot of the tool that we used. You can see in the blue section there, we identified the students that we were working with. The orange or yellow section, I'm not sure how it will show up on your screen, specifically stated how they were going to be working with me. I'm the instructional coach at that school to be able to support them in their needs. In the red section, that was the specific goal that the teacher was going to be working on with those given students. And then in the green, we called that our scoreboard, where the teachers would track whether they actually used the intervention that day or not. And we went through this repeatedly throughout the year as we targeted different students, because of course we want to give all things to all kids all year long, but the reality is we don't always have the time to do that. So each month they would identify those students that they were specifically going to be working on, or working with rather. This last slide that I'm going to show you actually shows our second grade data for the end of the year. And the result was that we not only maintained the number of students that tested as proficient in DIBELs, but we actually were able to grow by 3. I know that our second grade team attributes that really to looking more closely at their data, not just knowing who was on grade level, below grade level, above grade level, whatever, but really digging into all the different assessment tools that we have, looking at specific deficiencies that the child had, tracking that, and then really being accountable for teaching to those needs of deficit. And they were super excited with the growth and the results at the end of the year. So that's just one way that we are using data to drive our decisions and our instructional practices at my elementary school. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.